Alright, folks, thanks for tuning in to another Cruise with Smooth. Hope y'all doing okay today. Before I get into it, give me a like, share, comment, subscribe if you like the content that's been going up, kind of my take on things. Hit the notification bell if you want to know when new stuff goes up. And if you'd like my opinion on something that I haven't hit on in any video, leave it in the comment section. If it's something I'm not familiar with, I'd be more than happy to give you my take on it, even if it's something I got to research a touch. All that said, I have an opinion on something. You know, I've listened to a lot of news and consumed a lot of information about COVID over the past, in the state of Kentucky, I guess 15 months now is when it really became a thing where I'm at. Now, I am not an expert on this stuff. I do not work in a laboratory and research stuff. I have not gone to medical school. I'm not a virologist. I'm not an epidemiologist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a CNA. I just know what the experts tell me. Now, all that said, I don't understand why everything on COVID came down to likely political party affiliation. And what I mean by that is I'm sure there are some statistical outliers on, mask, don't mask, socially distance, don't socially distance, that don't necessarily, okay, you could have someone that's anti-mask for whatever reason that's not necessarily a Republican. You'd have someone that's pro-mask that's not necessarily Democrat, but a lot of that did come down to party affiliation. Or you could predict party affiliation fairly accurately by it. I don't understand that. I don't understand why we looked up to the degree that we did to a handful of experts, and anyone that brought up an opinion supported by data that was contrary to the prevailing opinion by the government-employed experts was shut down. I don't understand why doctors were saying, look, I'm not running a clinical study on hydrochloroquine or Z-Pak or zinc or azithromycin or any of these medications, but I can tell you I'm giving my patients this, here's the results I'm seeing, and here's other doctors that haven't done this yet, and I'm seeing better overall numbers in my hospital than other doctors are in their hospitals or in their places, or doctors that I work with that are treating patients. I don't understand why we couldn't have those conversations. There were doctors that got taken off all their social media whenever they try to talk there. And I highly doubt that any of the social media companies, now that there's several studies out, they're not your typical medical studies as far as where you do the drug, the placebo, a different dose of the drug, things like that. They're not your typical drug study. They're not your typical studies. They're based on recovery rates only. So you don't have the placebo effect in any of these studies. But I don't understand why we can't look at data across the country and decide, you know what, even though this isn't a full-blown study on how this works, it'd be a good idea just to get information out there, because doctors need to know what other doctors are saying that may or may not work. I don't get it. And maybe I'm wrong because I'm not in the medical community. That's a possibility. I am wrong about a lot of things. That's why a lot of times when I am dealing with my wife or my family, I'm hesitant to fully commit to an idea that I might have, because it might not be a good idea, the best idea, or even right. So I just, and I hope that there's some people that are willing to look in my blind spot, so to speak, and say, hey, sure, you might be right about this, but here's one of the things you may not have thought about. Like, okay, as an example, sure, you could go out and buy $1,000 worth of car parts, and we've got the money, but that wouldn't leave, what we want in the savings account. So you need to save that up separate, and then go ahead and do that. I like having people to check my blind spots. That's one of the things I miss so much about my dad. So much about it. A lot of times in situations, I'd call him, kind of explain what's going on. He might have been familiar with the situation to a point, and he and I would just talk about it. And I'd say, I'm not wrong for thinking this way. Give me a reality check here. Am I losing my mind, or am I being a jerk, or is this person being a jerk? Am I right in thinking the way I'm thinking here? And he'd call it like he saw it, and he didn't always side with me. I mean, sure, I'm his son, but he was realistic about it. I don't understand why people married these opinions and were hesitant until the CDC said otherwise to change their minds, or hesitant until the WHO changed their minds to say otherwise. So, I don't get it. I've always been of the opinion that when dust settles from COVID and people start actually digging into the science and the numbers, we're going to find out how much people screwed up, and it's going to be a lot, and there's going to be a reckoning on some of these people, and I hope I get to see it, because I bet it's going to be awesome. So, all that said, I'm done for today. Y'all have a good night. Stay safe. Take care. Thanks for tuning in. Catch y'all next time.